Man, okay, so and ladies and gentlemen, he's leaving out a few. I know it's hard to plug yourself, man, but if you can just do it for us, you leaving out a few people that you did some work with. I think probably some people we never heard of, along with the name drops like Pattie Labelle, right? Mm-hmm. Just drop a few that I might have heard.
Well,
of.
I can tell you something about Pattie Labelle. Is like I did a couple of projects for her. Produced by David Rubinson up at the Automat in San Francisco. But Pattie Labelle, out of all of the artists that I've ever worked with, I think she was one of the kindest and the sweetest people that you ever want to meet in your life. I mean,
I can tell.
She cooked for the band.
Right.
I mean, that kind of stuff, man. It's just like just an absolutely incredible person. But it was her. Peter Frampton was another interesting.
Yeah, that's a little different.
It was a little different. Peter Frampton wanted to do an album that had more funk in it, so he redid Signed, Sealed, Delivered, and a couple of things. And they wanted to get like, who's the hot session bass player? So that would be Eddie Watkins. So bam, I get the call, right? And but it was simply that, the guy that got me entrenched into the sessions was a guy named Ben Barrett. He was the contractor, the big contractor in Los Angeles, and everybody knew this guy, And after Ben Barrett, I think there wasn't anybody that was even close to him, because he was like the agent mogul out there. We drove a little powder blue Mercedes. They looked like Benjamin Franklin. And everybody that knows Ben Barrett, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about, But he kept a lot of us working because he was so connected, with the companies and the producers and stuff, But in any event, everything that happened to me. Now I had a conversation with Joe Sample, and because I played with them for a while, and we became kind of close during that time. Joe told me, he said that one thing. Because he came up and saw my band. My band was playing up at Mammoth, and he had a house up there, So he had just happened to be up there. He stopped in. He knew I was playing, and we were sitting at the bar, where we usually sat. and Joe was telling me. He said, "Let me tell you something. That bass, you owe everything to that bass. Everything that you've ever done is because of that bass, and every place that you're going to go is because of that bass. Never forget that, Because I was like singing, and I was like doing all of this other kind of stuff, and we stepping and everything. He said, that's all fine, He said, but you have something that's going to always come back in style. It's that Motown sound, because it's solid and it's true, And things are going to shoot off from that, but it's got to come back to that because it's the truth. And I heard him. I understood exactly what he was saying. Well, not exactly. It got clearer as time went on, but I learned a lot of stuff from Joe. I remember one night we were over in Switzerland somewhere. I had been working with the Crusaders for about 6 months. It seemed like I couldn't do nothing right, man. Joe, Wilton, Cass was always on me, man. I mean, I think I have a good night, man. But there's always a but, So, man, I was getting so frustrated. And then one night I just decided, you know what? I'm just gonna go out and play for me. I know these songs backwards and forwards, I went out there and man, I just like let it go. I was just like floating. Came off stage, Joe said, now that's what I'm talking about. I said, I got this now, So I had it down. So the next night, we went out, and I said, I'm gonna nail it again tonight, So I remember what I did last night. This is gonna be cool. And then we came off stage. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "It worked last night." He said, "That was last night, motherfucker." And then it went into, but that's exactly how he said it. But it went into a whole nother dynamic about when playing music. He said that we're not tracking, man. This ain't tracking. So you may have been a hotshot bass player tracking, But this real music over here, you know, this is jazz, and it's fresh every night. We ain't tracking. You know, so that threw me way out of my comfort zone because my comfort zone was that I could read, that I could play anything, that I was solid, that I could nail this thing, you know, and I light into a pattern, man, I got it, can't nobody play it like this, I'm solid, I'm there, you know. And when I got with them, it was like, well, all that little stuff that you think you don't, that don't really apply here.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
But it was just what I needed at the time when I thought that I really knew something, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, jazz is something else, man. And the Crusaders was awesome. One of my favorite jazz bands.
I have so much respect for those guys, you know. Just incredible respect for them.
Man, what now speaking of tracking, when he say tracking, I believe he's talking about in the studio where these where you got to duplicate this part and get this part right and
punch this and punch that or whatever.
Take your keys out your pocket and you know all this kind of stuff. That's tracking doing the studio work.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between playing in the studio and then playing live in these professional settings? What's the difference, if there is one?
Oh God, it's such a big difference. And I can only speak from my perspective, but a live performance, the greatest component of a live performance is the people, you know, because there's an energy there in the audience that you're picking up, and that energy is part of the music, you know, and whether they're standing up, clapping or whatever, it's there. You know, they don't have to be jumping up and down and, you know, throw your hands in there like you just don't care. They don't have to do that. It's the energy that's there and you feel it, you know. And you're playing with other musicians. You know, you're not overdubbing. You know, it's like certain things you don't even pay attention to anymore because this is live. You know?
Right.
This is live. And it breathes, you know. It's not always in tempo. You know, some things it's dynamic. You know, when you're in the studio, your dynamics are going to be very small. You know, because there's only a certain amount of bandwidth. But when you're playing live, you can go like to a blast, to a whisper.
Right.
You know, and it's all part of that magic of a live performance. You know, so that's the difference for me. The best scenario is recording live. You know. Which is something that I would like to do one day, you know.
Okay. You recently had a CD out here, right?
Yeah, I have 4.
Okay.
And I started, you know, right now, I'm like 19 years between cocktails. Right?
Okay.
So, that was just the 21st of this September. It was 19 years for me.
So have you been to a bar since? I mean,
yeah, I've been in bars or whatever, you know. But the thing is, it's like during that time when I had so much success in LA, you know, in the 70s, a lot of other things came along with that experience.
Yeah.
You know, like substance abuse.
I used to think it was mandatory, you know, to be a professional musician. You had to do drugs. I used to think that was mandatory.
In certain circles, it was an advantage.
Yeah.
You know, it
but
just
they say
was.
Chet Baker actually went out there and intentionally became a heroin addict because he thought it would make him sound more like Miles.
But anyway, like I said, you know, it led to that part of my life, and in an attempt to get myself back together, I went into a program which required me to find a God of my understanding. You know, and through that process, I ended up having a spiritual awakening, and then realized what all of these experiences in my life were for. It was for praise and worship, you know. So I've been doing that since 2008.
And as a result, that's when the Eddie Watkins Jr. CD started happening since 2008. So these are spiritual gospel
spiritual
compositions.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I've been traveling the United States for like almost 2 years now, and the way the music is being received is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. You know, I mean, I go into these little towns and they treat me like a rock star, man. And these are churches, just churches and centers around the country. You know, I've been homeless, you know, like for 2 years, but I have several homes all around the country that I can go just at any time. You know.
Okay, and so tell us, in case we want to go purchase or some of these CDs, can you just chronologically give us title and artist?
Yeah, the first CD is called The Answer. And that was when I first had my spiritual awakening. So a lot of the songs on there are pretty, there's a song called God Is All There Is, talking about the journey, The Answer, All Is Well. I'm not worried about tomorrow, but today I declare freedom from yesterday, mistakes of the past. Today all things are made brand new. And don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should? That's one of the songs on that. And of course The Answer, and got a few like hits off of that thing. And then the second CD was called We Come Together. And We Come Together is like a congregational opening song that's sung in Unity churches all over the world right now. It's absolutely amazing. It's like from my little, you know, Pro Tools unit. I have a song that's being played in churches all over Unity churches all over the world. And then the third CD is called And So It Is, you know, and it's got a song on there called I Fly, God Is So Good, I'm Walking Away. That's a song about walking away from the thinking that's held you for so long, walking away from things that no longer serve you. So those are kind of messages that I'm putting to this Motown beat and this music. So for me, it has a different purpose. The Motown has a different purpose to me because it's like a vehicle to get this positive music out to people and these positive lyrics and a positive message about life and reminding people of the power that's within them, you know. And I'm a minister and I'm not preaching a religion or anything. I'm just talking about humanity, and you know how we treat each other, you know, how we respect each other, the planet, you know, that kind of stuff, and that's what I chose to sing about, you know. So that is my ministry and that is my dedication right now. In the bass, like Joe Sample said, the bass is what's carrying me through all of this.
Right, and if we wanted to see you perform, what's the name of your gospel group again?
Well, no, I don't have a gospel group. It's just Eddie Watkins Jr. But I have a concert called Motown and Miracles.
You on your tour? Yeah. Is it just you by yourself?
Well, it depends. A lot of times I was just at Mile High in Denver, and we had I guess about an 8-piece band for the Motown and Miracles concert, and it was phenomenal. We had over 1,400 people, you know, and it was all Motown. I added disco and Beatles for this one. We did it last year, and this year I added disco and Beatles stuff, you know. But again, it's a genre that can help heal the world, I believe.
Okay, and if we wanted to see you, just look for what do you call the performance or the
if you want to see my live performances, you can go onto YouTube and just type in Eddie Watkins Jr. It'll give you more stuff than you want to see.
Okay, well, we're going to do that. And I mean, you know, we're being seen in over 150 countries and territories and all around the United States. So somebody seeing this right here might say, you know what, I just heard this guy was gonna be here, I'm gonna go check it out. So that's why I want to know EddieWatkinsJr.com or Eddie Watkins Jr. Eddie Watkins Jr. on YouTube, right?
Yeah, EddieWatkinsJr.com will take you everywhere. It'll take you to YouTube and Facebook and everywhere.
Okay. Yo, you got a Facebook page too?
Yes, sure do.
That's awesome. I got one too.
And also, you know, I just need to say that you know, what you guys have created here with Detroit Bass Player, you know, it's phenomenal. I think it's absolutely incredible, you know.
And that's
Thank you so much.
That's only because of guys like you, guys like this guy who just Chevy just called out of the blue, man. I'm from New York.
Yeah.
I live in Detroit.
Stumbled across.
I didn't
some
sing.
videos.
I didn't sing all the videos, and I know he did because he mentioned stuff that really happened on those videos. And of course, we couldn't do it without this man because the BASSmint is the bomb. You know what I'm saying? Everybody say the BASSmint is the bomb. And just to mention, few people say that door right there. They say that's an alien right there. Look at the top left hand corner. They actually say that's an alien.
Is it alien? Lord have mercy.
Japan, man. It's not Japan.
Yeah, I mean it's so much stuff. So, but again, it couldn't happen without people, bass players like that, and like that. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, why don't we play something, man?
Well, I have a couple questions first.